Anybody who knows me really well knows that clutter is something I have, especially my sewing stuff. I have everything. I might not know exactly where it is, but truly I have it. And I guess I never really thought about decluttering. I just keep everything. So let me just say a few things about it. The first thing I want to say is um, some of you think I'm retiring because I'm decluttering. I'm not retiring. I am decluttering. We're planning on downsizing our house, and that has been overwhelmingly terrifying for me because I couldn't work out how I could possibly have a house big enough to have all my stuff in it. And actually, I don't need all my stuff, but it took me a while to come to terms with that. So I've made some adjustments. So what I am planning on doing is I am planning on not being a warehouse, okay? Because that takes down a lot of stuff for me. So I'm not going to supply fabric and threads anymore because they take up so much room and I just probably won't have it. So that was the main consideration on that. And what was I saying about, oh, my friends that know me well? Yes, they would be amazed. They'd be amazed that I've actually managed to do this. And I just want to share how I did it and how overwhelming the thought was. It sent me virtually into paralysis for ages. But I've been on the road a lot, so I haven't been able to do anything. So I've been able to think about it, and that overwhelmed me. And then I read a book, and I just want to give you the name of the book because somebody's going to want to know it. And, I'm not a self help reader too much, but I did find this book just really thought provoking and very simple to read. It just had short paragraphs. So I found it easier to read it, think about it, and move on to the next one. So the name of the book was 100 Ways to Declutter Your Home by Fiona Ferris. Okay, 100 Ways to Declutter Your Home by Fiona Ferris. And it wasn't really, really long, but it was really inspiring. And it did address a lot of things that I have trouble with. Like, I'm very nostalgic and I like, if somebody gave me something years ago, I hold on to it forever. For instance, one of the books I had was a book my grandmother had given me about Prudence Kitten. And at that time, I had a cat called Prudence Kitten. And I have had this book forever. And I move it everywhere I go, and I probably never look at it, but I couldn't bring myself to get rid of it. But I've actually got over that. I don't love my grandmother any less. I don't love my cat any less. Neither that book wasn't either of them. It was just a memory. So I actually threw it out. And I think some of you may find that I've thrown a lot of things out. And that's perhaps quite a harsh way to deal with things. But when I throw them out, that's the end of it. I've got rid of it. It's done. And I have created much more space for the things I really do need and the things I really do love. So I have got a slideshow because I'll go completely off track if I um, don't stick with it. So let's go to the next slide. So the first thing you have to do is find a reason. It may be that your husband keeps moaning at you. That wouldn't bother me. I'd leave it untidy. But um, to create order, creating order gives you real peace of mind. Okay, so for me, it would give me peace of mind. Whatever you do, it has to benefit you, not somebody else. So you can enjoy being in there and be calm and creative. Well, I haven't actually got to that stage yet, but I'm super excited about when it will happen. And because some stuff is so old, you have outgrown it. And that was what I really found. Some of my stuff is so old that, it's of no value anymore. And another reason is because you just have too much stuff, which was kind of me. And your tastes have changed. And Perhaps your size, yes. I did mention that because I did come across several projects of shirts I've made and never sewn the buttons on. And when I put them on, clearly they had shrunk in the meantime. So yeah, you can certainly donate to charity, and that's great. I'm on a little bit of a time limit, so I'm being brutal. Okay. So what's the next slide said? It's a voyage of discovery because you find things you never knew you had. Well, I did, and I was kind of excited about that. And that was fun. That was fun finding things I didn't know I had. I bought a book the other day on making fabric bowls, only to find I'd already bought a book, obviously years ago, and it was on my shelf. And I think the other thing that I really learned was everything has a place, but of course, if it's really cluttered, you can't find a place. So it that really helped me too. So what they say is to start on something small, like a drawer, because it's done, it's quick gratification, you feel you're getting somewhere, and it's progress. So I did start on my drawers. I actually started on my Triumph feet and my all my Triumph stuff, which actually I have in a drawer, but I won't have room for all these drawers that I have around. And honestly, when it goes in the drawer, it kind of goes in there and I forget it's there. So what I did was I bought one of these big containers. Actually, this is 14-inch. See it from Joann's. And I have everything from my Triumph in that one box. Everything. So I'm kind of excited about that. And what I liked about it was it's in a box. So when I move house and I don't have as much room, I can probably put it in a closet if I'm not using my Triumph, which is a rare day. But I can put it in there and put it in the closet if I'm working on the same machine. And it will just clear my area and make it look tidier. And I'm kind of excited about clear surfaces. I did start in my kitchen. I should have added that. My kitchen is immaculate. So somebody said they get stored looking at fabric. I completely agree with you. I really didn't do too long at a time. I did maybe 45 minutes, then I went off and did something else, or actually sat down and did a little bit of sewing just to reward myself on something that I found. So let's move on to the next one. Books and patterns. I had so many books and patterns, and I had so many printed out, ones that I bought on the internet that you put together. I know I hate doing those, but I do have some. And I kept every one of them. Now, of course, I wouldn't necessarily know where it is. Well, I might. I might have a rough idea. But I thought, I don't need to move. I don't need to pay to move that. I can bin it. And then if I ever make it again, I know that it's on the computer and I can download it again. And I know where it is. And books wise, I found I had loads of books from ages ago when I was quite into surface design, and I enjoyed reading them all, and they were great. But actually, I've never gotten back to that. There's still lots of things I want to do, and perhaps surface design passed me by. At that time, I wasn't interested in free motion quilting, which I really love to do. So I decided those books were finished with me. Okay, so I got rid of them. And patterns. I have every pattern I ever had. And so I went through, and of course I'm older and I'm a little bit different in shape. So a lot of those patterns no longer suited me, and I'd never made them for some reason. So I actually got rid of a load of patterns, but I also found a load of patterns that are going to work really well with some of my fabrics that I have. So I put them in a plastic bag with the fabric so that when I think to myself, oh, I think I'll make that turquoise coat that I've had the fabric for about 3 years, 4 years, um, I can go to it and I'll find the pattern for that coat in with the fabric. So that will make life a lot easier when I have the time to start doing it. So I have my cotton fabrics that I do all my um, projects out of. And then, of course, I have my dressmaking stuff. And my dressmaking stuff, again, you outgrow fabric. So I did get rid of quite a bit of that, but I have got some really good fabric that I've never had the time to work with. So I put all of those in a plastic bag with the pattern in a tub. And I'm really excited about getting back to that. And as I said, I found projects that I'm never going to complete because I've grown or shrunk, they've shrunk or whatever. So I had a really big turnout on books. And to be quite honest with you, I really like to buy my books on Kindle these days, mainly because they're cheaper, but also I can read them when I'm traveling, which, is really what I like to do when I'm traveling, read my books. But the bestest thing about having it on your computer in your Kindle library is you know where it is. So that's the story on books. Threads. Threads, I haven't really mastered it yet. So far, I've put all my threads into tubs, my 8 weights, my 12 weights, and I've saved spools where I only have like a little tiny bit because I do a lot of scrap stuff. So, I thought, I'll keep that. And I decided to be harsh. And if there wasn't much thread on it, I threw it, especially if I have more of that thread. So, that was how I dealt with the threads. I've still got to go back through and be a little harder on that, um, because I have lots of thread. And the other thing I did with thread, with my embroidery thread, I normally have that in one of those drawers that are plastic drawers. And I went to Joann's and I bought a Christmas bauble box. And it is really great for my embroidery threads. And again, I'm putting them all into a box with a handle, and that can go in a closet because I don't often embroider. So it really doesn't need to be out in my workspace clogging it up. So I put it into these boxes, and I haven't finished doing that yet because I need to get another box. But that's my plan with that. And then I can put it in the closet when I'm not doing embroidery, and it's not going to mess up the place and confuse me. So yes, storage containers were big. I've always had lots of drawers in here. Um, and I don't know that I'm going to have that in the new house. And actually, I just like the fact that the containers are, I can put them away and bring them out when I'm using them. They're not, as I said, messing up my area like with my plastic drawers. And my plastic drawers, they never pull smoothly, and you pull it and it doesn't come, and then it suddenly shoots out. So I decided they needed to go too. Buttons and trinkets. I am the queen of buttons and trinkets. I have so many buttons and trinkets. Some of the buttons are rubbish. Okay. So what I've done is, of course, everybody should have a button tin because from time immemorial, we've had button tins. So I have one with King Charles um, logo on the front of that a friend gave me for Christmas. And I'm going to put all my favorite buttons in there. Okay. I'm not going to keep the rubbish ones. I'm going to throw them out. I'm just going to keep the ones I truly love or the ones that are a set on a card. So that is buttons and trinkets. Well, I'm like with trinkets. I love my trinkets. I'll probably have a separate box. Although another what I wanted to say was I have also ordered that turquoise box in a bigger size, and you can only buy that online. And I'm one of the boxes I have, smaller boxes I have, just has things like scissors, hand needles, chalk, glue sticks, not glue, regular glue, not hot glue sticks, but regular glue. And it just has all my everyday sewing stuff in. And if I have a bit extra, I'll consider whether I'm going to keep it, throw it, or put it in a box of supplies. But I just want to have one box so that if I decide I'm going to go and do some hand sewing or mark up a garment or something like that, I've got it all there. And I want, oh yeah, I think it comes onto a slide. I'll tell you about that. So fabrics, that's the huge one, isn't it? That is the massive one. How do you ever give up fabric? Well, trust me, not every fabric you have you will love. Okay, you 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 keep fabric that you don't use it, and you say, well, I bought that fabric because I loved it. But do you still love it? Is it still something you're going to use? You know, because I've been doing K for so long, I used to buy it on the bolt and cut the kits and everything. Well, I'm not going to cut kits anymore, so I don't need that quantity of K fabric. And because I had that, I was kind of obliged to always use that. And in my actual fabric stash, I have some fabrics that I'll keep. I also have some fabrics that aren't great quality. Um, I will put all my batiks into one big plastic bag because I generally only use batik. Um, and so it can all go in one bag. And then I have some children's prints and I have loads of bits. And that was my problem because when I cut kits, I had little scraps. And of course, I love scrappy projects. So I kept all the scrap. And honestly, I decided it had to go. I still have lots of fabric that I can cut scraps out of. And what I'm going to do when I get to the fabric is I'm going to chuck out the cheap stuff. I'm going to chuck out the stuff that doesn't fit in with my, because you do change what you like, fit in with what I want to do, in the next few years. And I will only keep big pieces. Now I have one, two, three, I have 10 boxes on top of my fabric stash that have little tiny pieces just because I might need to applique. But the fact is I've got loads of fabric. I don't need to pick up those little pieces. I can actually cut small pieces from big pieces. Yeah. So I'm probably going to throw all those. And some of those I know aren't good quality cottons. And I haven't used them in 15 years. So, I probably won't miss them. And I think that's something else you can say. But the greatest thing about getting rid of fabric is it gives you an excuse to buy some more. So while I'm decluttering, I have, of course, cluttered as well. So I don't know. Let me have a look. I think this camera might be the best bet. Let me sort it out. So I I do love other fabrics, and I have been working a lot with Cave, and I will still work with Cave. But there are so many great designers. I'm just setting out so you can really see how pretty it is. Great designers out there doing fabric that they weren't doing 5, 6 years ago. And I'm missing out. I haven't got it. So because I'm destashing, I'm going to treat myself to some new fabrics. And this is a designer called, oh, you know what happens when I come to say the word, Marcia Durst. She has such fun fabric. And, you know, 10 years ago, I wasn't really interested in geometric designs, but now I love them. I love them. And I don't have much geometric, and I've never really been a floral person, but I have quite a bit of floral, mainly for my cave lines. But, really, if I have floral, that might be something that I would consider getting rid of. So let me just give you a show of this fabric. This is Marcia Durst. So add to stage. Whoops. They are. It doesn't look very bright because I haven't got any light on it. But see how fun it is? It's got lots of different um, colors and geometric shapes, and it's just as bright as my cave, just just different. Okay, so I'm kind of excited about using that. Going in a new direction. I think it's good to go in a new direction. So I can get all those pictures in. That's amazing. So just let me remove that one. Okay. Right. So yes, so I'm excited about that. And I think that's the fun of it, is to realize that you're heading in a different direction as you get older or as time goes on, or as new designers come in. And I actually saw a quilt the other day that was white tone on tone. And then it had pastels on it. Now, I never use pastels. I say pastels. But I felt tempted. So I think one of the good things about decluttering is it gives you permission to go in a different direction. But yes, definitely, if you've had a fabric 20 years, you might well have outgrown it. Okay, so that's what I am saying. So this is another question. Do you really need 10 tape measures? Because I have. I keep one in my handbag and now I keep one in my storage box. And if I always put it back in place, I won't need the other nine. The other nine for when I couldn't find the one. Okay, so if I can keep a place for it, I just need the one. So that was another experience I got from this week. And this is the big one, UFOs. Okay, let's talk about UFOs. I always kind of, when people say to me, "Oh, I'm not going to buy anything because I've got so many UFOs." Well, let's pick up that UFO. Think about it. Why did you not finish it? Was it because you didn't love it? Was it because it wasn't your color? Was it because it went wrong everywhere and you didn't want to fight with it? Well, everything you do should fill you with pleasure. So if that UFO isn't doing that, then throw it out. Or if it's a quilt or something, put it in a bag with the threads, the pattern, and donate it at Goodwill. And somebody else will probably really enjoy finishing it off for you. But I really feel UFOs are, I can't think of the right word, but they're they damage your progress, your fun of going forward, that they drag you backwards. Okay, now having said that, whoops, I'm just going to have to plug in my computer because I didn't realize it was low. Um, sorry, I'm still here. Hmm, it's not that one. I thought I did everything right tonight, but I forgot that. Right, you're good. So yes, so UFOs, and as I said, I found some garments I've made, and I didn't really like them, so I didn't put hem on them or I didn't put the buttons on it, and most of them have shrunk, as I said. But I just threw them out. I decided, done, have my fun with it. It's no longer fun. You can go. So I do feel that I think you have to give yourself permission to be ruthless and to say that didn't work and goodbye. Because there's bigger and better and more fun things out there. So embrace them and go forward. So I think that's a big thing. Trims. I had thousands of trims because I did the miniature bear business and I used a lot of trims in that. But I can make trims on my serger. So, and invariably, whatever I'm making, I won't have the right color. So I can make it on my serger. So I threw out all my trims. So yeah, I think it's really important to clear surfaces. And that's why I think if you could put things into a storage unit, not storage unit, storage box, put them in your closet so you can't see them. It just opens it up. You feel more peaceful. You can have more fun with your sewing. I, I mean, I have to laugh because I am not the expert on this. I'm just sharing with you how I feel having got this done. Um, that it surprised me. It surprised me how much better I felt when there's nothing sitting on the top apart from the project I'm working on, or perhaps two. But, it's just clearing things up. It just makes you feel at peace with your room and you want to be in there and you want to be sewing. So, oh, and this, I've got to read this. I am trying to watch your things, and I just love this. Joanne said, the thing that gets me thinking about organizing my sewing room is that if I died tomorrow, what would someone do with this stuff? Especially since my only child, a son, would not have any idea what to do with it. I really do need to clear the decks. Well, I didn't say anything at the beginning, but that actually was a huge part of it for me too, because I cleared my in-laws' house when they passed away and my parents' house when they passed away. And I found it the most traumatic thing I ever did because there was all these precious things that were of no use to anybody else. And so that really has stayed in my mind. And I've thought, I really should. I'm not planning on dying tomorrow, but I really should deal with some of it, deal with some of it. And, I certainly feel better for that too, that I'm clearing some of my stuff. I mean, he's going to get stuff. Well, I've got two boys. They are going to get stuff to clear. It's just called payback. But yeah, yes, things are only precious to us. Nobody else feels the same way. I get that. I get that. And Eileen says she likes to organize after every project. I put everything away in the place and tidy up my space. Then I can start something new with a clear space in mind. That's wonderful. I mean, I wish I was like that. I'm always rushing to the next project or rushing to the next thing. And I, I shove it in the cupboard or I shove it in the drawer or whatever. Jan says, Dondi, that's her daughter, has told her not to leave her with that task. I had a chat with my son, and he said he thought I should become a minimalist. Me, a minimalist. That would be really, really funny. So I was so cross with him. I said, well, no, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to leave it all to you to sort out. But of course, I didn't mean it. It was just a joke. Right. So the end of the day, the fun is I can't actually read that because it's got something over it. The fun is you will find things you forgot you had. I mean, I've got a box of projects and I haven't kept every project, but I've kept the ones that I'm excited to do. So I can't wait to get on with those. And I think you'll be inspired to start new things. And I haven't finished, and I'm not an expert, but it has been so much easier than I thought. When I've tidied my workrooms before, I get overwhelmed at more stuff here and more stuff there, and it seems to take forever to get any order. But when you throw it out, it's kind of easier because you're creating space. I just used to put everything back in the place that it belonged, lots of it. But now I'm actually creating space, and I think that's the big thing. But I don't come in here at 7 in the morning and work till 7 at night because you can't actually be useful at it if you are tired or fed up with it. So, I maybe do 45 minutes and then I'll go and do something else. Or maybe I've got 20 minutes before I have to go out and I think, oh, I'll just go and do some stuff in there. And it hasn't been the chore that it has always been for me because I'm getting rid of stuff. And you can donate. I'm chucking mine, but you, I mean, I would donate if I thought it was anything that was good. But you're creating space, so you actually make bigger progress, but you don't have to get it all done in a day. You might just say, today is threads day, or just this drawer, or just this container. Right. Yeah, clear bins are good because you can see through them. That's a good point. I actually don't have clear bins, so I would definitely benefit from that. But I have so many bins. So yes. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I know it's not surgery related, but it's clearing the decks to really get on. And I feel enthused, and I feel I can make the move now too, whereas before it was really troubling me. I can downsize. I'm going to take everything I really care about, but not the things I don't care about. Okay, so it will fit in my room, and hopefully my room will be big-ish. So Yes, that's another way I've heard of doing it. Marion says she worked with an organizer and they had three boxes. One said keep, one said toss, and the other was donate. Worked great. Yeah, I think so. And the other thing, if you donate, make sure you take it to the donation place within 24 hours. Where are you moving to? Only in the same area. We live on big 5 acres, and it's just too much as we get older. And I want to have a simpler life. That's what I want to have. I I I don't want to get up in the morning and feel I've got to get this done, that done, the other done. I want to get up and go for a swim and enjoy my day. So it's a question of making my life simpler. So downsizing will probably do that for us. Yeah, don't throw out what makes you happy. Absolutely. I had some books that my mum had that were old sewing books, and I've had them forever, and I do occasionally read them, but not often. And I decided, that if I've got time, there's lots of books I want to read that I'm kind of done with that. And so I did get rid of them, but I didn't feel bad about it. I don't feel it doesn't change the way I still love my mother, or anything like that. It was just some books. So, that's how I dealt with that. And I actually felt really good. Yeah, and, I just think as I get older, I just need what I really like? I quite like hotel rooms because 'cause they're simple. It's just my stuff in a suitcase, and it's relaxing, and, in the book, they talk about the Verbo homes that you rent and how they're always nice homes because 'cause they've not got any clutter in and stuff like that. Now, in the past, I kind of liked my clutter, but as I get older, it's becoming more of a weight on my mind. So, yes. So yes, moving is grueling. Setting a house is grueling, but at least I'm it was far more grueling before I did this project. And I by no means finished, but I have made good headway. And I think what I keep saying to you is it's not just that I've made good headway, I'm actually enjoying it, which is something you'd never expect me to say. So I think that is all tonight. I I know I had that sale going on. I will reopen it. We just need to catch up. We got far more orders than we ever realized. And I thank you for helping me declutter. I will announce it on the group. Um, but I hope if anybody's thinking of decluttering that they do it with a lighter heart than I did, at the thought of it, and enjoy it and get ready to have a great sewing time afterwards with all their fun projects they found or the new fabric they bought or whatever. I think sewing's all about having fun. Okay, well, I will see you next Monday. Yes, I will see you next Monday, and I will do something surgery related. Am I getting rid of any bears I made? I think I already have. I may find some. I'll let you know if I do. So, oh, that was nice of Gloria. She's a nice lady. I wish I could be. Oh, I should add that it kind of helped that I've had some arthritis, so they put me on prednisone a few weeks back. So that's probably helped. That's probably another tip. Good tip. Anyway, thanks so much for coming in and joining me. It's lovely to be here, and it's good of you to come in. And I hope some of that was of interest to you, or just whatever. And I will see you next week. Good night.